Hello. Happy Tuesday, first Tuesday of the month, Jennifer. What's up? Oh my goodness, so excited to have you. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope you had a beautiful holiday season. Haven't talked to you since before Christmas because some of us got stuck in an airport, which wasn't supposed to happen. But luckily, I made it home at 3 in the morning instead of like 3 days later. So I had a pretty positive experience compared to what most people had to deal with. And so I am very fortunate for that. So before we get started, we're going to talk about goals here in a second. Everyone better be ready to type in the chat box their goals or unmute yourself and chit chat. But before we do, I always like to keep you up to date with what's going on in my world. And so, first things first, Natasha, don't get upset. However, the weekly calls are going to slow down. We are going to do once a month for a little while to see how it goes. And so, we're going to pivot to Mondays at 6 p.m. And I'll send out massive communication and stuff for that. And we are going to join forces with Unconquerable because we will always target health, mindset, nutrition, all that stuff. And so, Unconquerable people, you will always be invited to partake Mondays at the first Monday of the month at 6 p.m. So my Facts Over Fads people, you will still get your email. It'll remind you. I'll still create the Facebook event. So that will hopefully remind you and notify you as well. And hopefully we can drive some more attendance because it's a little bit later. It's on Monday. And then it's once a month instead of every week. So where I feel like a lot of people will say, oh, I'll miss this one because I'll jump on the next one. I'll miss this one. I'll jump on the next one. Just goes and goes and goes and goes until you just never jump on. So we'll drop it down to hopefully increase some of that excitement and see how that goes. And then Unconquerable people will always be invited, but the Unconquerable peeps, you guys will not receive the recordings, but you are always welcome to join. Facts or Fads people, you will always get the recordings as always. Now, there's a couple reasons why. One, we launched the Build Your Own Coach product at Facts Over Fads, where you get weekly calls one-on-one with the coach instead of like your monthly calls or every 6 weeks or every 8 weeks or whatever the case may be. Yeah, I should do both, right, Jen? So the Build Your Own Coach product, we'll talk about that here in a second, but that's going to kind of take up more of my time. And it also gives you the ability to schedule your calls with me specifically a little bit later. And then Deidre and Lane will create their own schedule. So the Build Your Own, we'll talk about that in a second. So it's going to push me out on my scheduling to give you guys more one-on-one attention there. And then the mentorship with Unconquerable, again, also like pushing me out a little bit on one-on-one calls. So my kind of role in the future is to give you guys more one-on-one attention through those two options. And then Lane and Deidre are pretty much crushing the whole Facts Over Fads thing. And so they're super helpful there. But if you want to do Build Your Own Coach, you can also choose Lane or Deidre. You get to choose whoever you want. So Deidre is way nicer than me. You should choose Deidre. Don't choose Joseph. So that's kind of why. So number one, hopefully we drive some more attendance. First Monday of the month is going to be the calls from now on, 6 p.m. And then give us coaches more time to sit with you guys for a little bit longer on your one-on-one calls if you build your own coach, and then also the Unconquerable mentorship as well. So that's there. Recordings still going to go to Facts Over Fads, not going to go to Unconquerable because most people are in there for free and they don't deserve it. I'm just kidding. I didn't mean that. But yes, I did. All right. So if you are not in the Unconquerable group, it's free. So you can absolutely join the Unconquerable group if you want to. So Build Your Own Coach. What is it? Why is it? We have a lot of people who actually cancel with us who want more one-on-one attention, more changes to their meal plan, just more accountability, more attention, all of that good stuff. And so that's kind of why we created it. And so to deliver that service, it's going to take more of all of our time, which is why the price point is more expensive, but totally doable. Now, I was talking to Deidre today about I guess my idea behind the whole Build Your Own Coach. And it's not meant to be every single month. It's meant to give you a kickstart for 1 month and then be able to back off and go back down to like your normal price and your normal subscription. It's not going to be whatever, I forget the prices I told y'all, like 100, I think I gave y'all a discount code, but it's $200. I don't expect you to do $200 every single month. That's not how this is designed. It's, hey, I'm really struggling right now. I would love more communication, more one-on-one time, more changes to my meal plans, or a different approach nutritionally, because we will tailor whatever approach we need to help you be successful. And we'll talk about goals here in a second, which is why it's so important. And then you say, okay, cool, I had you for a month. I'm good. Go ahead and put me back on like my 6-month price or my 12-month price or whatever you're at. You can go up and down at any time. Or you say, you know what, the 1 month was great, but I think I still need another month. But again, it's not a long-term thing. This isn't something that we expect you to be paying a higher end price point forever. It's just for a month or two at a time to get you going in the right direction. And yeah, it's like an add-on what we currently have because I don't want to lose the price. No, it's not going to be an add-on. We will essentially cancel what your price that you have and then put on the new price. But I will be able to honor your old price. Don't worry about that. We will always be able to honor your old price. Deidre knows math and we can math it out and figure out discount codes and percentages and stuff to get you back down to your normal price. No worries there. We'll always honor your old price if you upgrade, pinky promise. All righty. So yeah, so I think a lot of people were confused and they're like, well, I can't afford that, long term. And that's not what my expectation was. My expectation was to give you guys more one-on-one services for a short period of time, drive home a lot more accountability, a lot more success, and then give you a lot of things that you can just do on your own. All righty. And so therefore you can back down, go back to your price. All right. So I hope that makes sense for Build Your Own Coach. All righty. Now headed into goals. Happy New Year. Happy New Year's resolution day, where everyone has a goal, except for me. My goal is to not work myself to death. That's my goal every year. And I never win. You're welcome, Katie. So before we dive into goals this year, I want to know, you can put in the chat box, unmute yourself, whatever the case may be, to tell me what your goals were last year. All righty, when New Year 2022 hit, what were your goals? Number one, just put it in the chat box, unmute yourself. Tell me, what did you look to accomplish in 2022? Don't tell me if you hit them or not. We're gonna dive into that in a second, but what were your goals last year? Promise there's a point to all of this. What's up, April? Don't all type or speak at once. Lose some weight, number one.
I didn't have goals. I didn't have goals last year. Last year was like I was in a tough place personally, and so I was just trying to survive. And then it was like all of a sudden I came out of survival mode, and I didn't specifically I guess I made goals to go to CG Games finals, and I made it. So, but in the beginning of the year, that was not the goal. The goal was just to survive.
Yeah, for sure. I know that feeling, and I was there with you when you're going through that. So.
That's right.
Heck yeah, girl. But we're out now. We're out and crushing it. We're thriving.
We are.
I love it. We got some weight loss. We got wanted to learn about some meal portions. Natasha doesn't remember. Financial stability, learn how to eat clean. I don't remember. Had goals either way. I don't remember. Well, this didn't go according to plan because now we don't have anything to talk about. So what normally happens is I feel like we really set ourselves up for failure with New Year's resolutions, which was my direction I wanted to go. But it looks like a lot of us just didn't have goals. We just, I wanted to do this a little bit, I want to do that a little bit, or I don't remember, whatever the case may be. And so normally, and what we're doing with the Unconquerable Monthly Challenge is I'll send you weekly self-reflection forms. And so what'll happen is we never really check in with ourselves about our goals. And we'll get into the whys and SMART goals and stuff here in a second. But normally we just say random things like, I want to lose weight. And we never well, why? If you did lose weight, how would you feel? If you don't lose the weight you wanted to lose, how would you feel? How do you feel right now about it all? Are you mad at yourself? Are you upset? Are you happy? Are you joyful? What's going on there? So I wanted to do like a self-reflection thing. And since we can't do it because no one remembers or no one hit them or whatever, we didn't have them, we'll dive into our new goals. All righty. We'll kind of do self-reflection there. All righty. Well, Kat says she has some pretty good goals. She has more so maybe a goal, but to maintain health and provide for my kids. And so Kat's crushing it. I don't know if you guys follow Catherine on social media, but she works out every morning in the garage. And sometimes she invites her kids and she lets her kids work out as well. So I think you're doing a really good job, Miss Kat, because I never checked in. Oh, we got more goals coming in. Learn how to feed myself, family with positive relationship with food. Megan, love it. Have a lot of plans and they derailed my life. Yeah, they got derailed by life, Katie. I gotcha. So we're going to talk a little bit about that when we wrap up this call. Of what are we going to do when life hits us in the face? All right. So we are all about to set goals right now. All righty. And so we're not going to call them a resolution. We're going to just call them a goal. And we're going to set some timelines and we're going to do a lot of cool stuff to hopefully hold everyone a little bit more accountable without maybe having someone have to check in on you 24/7. So hopefully we can all get off this call with some tangible items. And oh my goodness, my computer's blowing up. Some tangible items to work on, some things to value a little bit differently, think about a little bit differently, and we'll have some good things to take away. All righty. So tell me, what are your goals this year? I would say limit it to 1 or 2. If you want to do 2, I would hope that they are closely related or they could feed off of one another in some way, somehow. So put it in the chat box or unmute yourself. Again, don't be shy. It's just going to be Jen and I talking the whole time. Sometimes Megan talks to me. Sometimes she doesn't. But put it in the chat box. What are your goals? 1 goal or 2. But if you choose 2, they have to be related or connected some way, somehow.
I pressed enter too fast, but I want to maintain my 4 to 5 workouts per week, but I want to add in 2 of those will be morning workouts per month, the 2 mornings.
So you didn't do our wake up challenge.
I did not. Yeah, I was like, mornings are tough. And then go to CG Games finals, but make it in the top 10 teams this time.
I like it. Oh, teams. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about it.
Yeah. Final individualist is like, that's a Katie Salinas level. That's a whole nother level. I'm not there yet.
All right. So we got get off all meds. We've got workout more frequently, 2 in the morning. Get below 200 pounds by March. We're going to dive into timeline here in a second. Katie, thanks for jumping the gun. Race a sprint triathlon in March. You'll love it. Step challenge has been great so far, so I like to participate in as many as I can. Oh, I love it. Good. I'm glad that is helpful. Run a half marathon and consistent 4 to 5 workouts. Ooh, yeah, I like it.
I'm driving, so I can't type.
Yeah, what's up?
So mine is to follow my meal plan and my workout plan. That's kind of like one goal, and then my second goal is to save like $5,000.
I wonder if following your meal plan would help you save money.
I feel like it would when I look at my eating out budget, like how much I spent eating out.
You and me both. I actually looked at my budget. So Natasha always motivates me with financial advice. And I actually looked at my eating budget from November and December, and I spent an ungodly amount eating out. It was like wild. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was mad at myself when I looked at mine. I was like, that's insane.
Yeah, me and sushi need to break up. I'm just gonna put that. So me and sushi are done for a little while. So I love it. Okay. Have an improved relationship with food, but continue down the path, which will hopefully lead to weight loss. I love it. Okay. So have better relationship with food and then leads to some weight loss. Work out regularly. We're going to talk about more about that here in a second, April. Be healthy, eat better, hopefully lose weight, listen to Catechisms in a Year podcast. I think that's what you meant, Catechisms, and Bible in a Year to improve my marriage. Love it, Amy. Need to be more proactive, stop wasting until the last minute to complete deadlines. I know, you and me both. I'm a procrastinator. I'll tell you why in a second. More consistent with meal plan, build a better meal schedule for my kids. Ooh, I like that. Every dollar is a great free budgeting app. Ooh, I like it, Megan. Thanks for that tip. Meal prep better. Overall, keep building up my savings. Love it. Okay. So we've got our goals. Again, maybe it's one, maybe it's two, but we're going to dive into SMART goals. So if you are not driving and you want to write stuff down, that would be great. However, when we throw out a goal like be more consistent with your plan, okay, what does that mean? Right? How do we do that? What would you look for in the consistency? Is it 3 days a week? Because right now we're at 0. Is it 5 days a week because there's only 7 days, or is it all 7 days? What does that look like? Work out regularly. Again, got to get a little bit more specific. So we're going to dive into SMART goals, right? We talk about it all the time. When I learned about SMART goals, like a long time ago when I was a young Padawan, I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world. I was like, this is so stupid. This is ridiculous. Now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, it makes so much sense. And so we have our top goal: work out more regularly, lose weight, follow the meal plan, yada yada yada. That's your overall goal. Alrighty. But we want to start diving into the specifics. Okay. So like Jen's was pretty specific. I want to work out consistently like 4 to 5 days a week. Right. That was pretty specific. So if we have a weight loss goal, I want to either know the amount. So I want to lose 20 pounds, 25 pounds, 30 pounds, or like Katie said, I want to be below 200 pounds. So her first goal would be 199. So make it specific. So whatever your goal was, put it in the chat box or unmute yourself and tell me the specifics. So save money. Okay, well, what does that mean? How much money do you want to save? I'll give you $5. Are you happy now? Put it in your savings account, right? Put a specific number. You need a finish line. All right, you need something to say, I accomplished my goal. Saving money isn't very specific. Losing weight isn't very specific. Working out isn't very specific. So put it in the chat box, unmute yourself. Tell me now, what is your specific goal? Oh, God, I gotta read. Maintain 4 to 5 workouts per week, 2 of them per month. Per month? I thought you meant per week. Okay, per month. 2 per week or 2 per month are going to be in the morning. And then add during my CG workouts, weighted runs, weighted jump ropes, jogging before and after. Love it to get ready for CG games. Very specific. Alrighty, 4 to 5 workouts per week. 2 of them are going to be in the morning. Going to add weighted things during your CG workouts. Pretty specific. All right. Do at least 8 unconquerable challenges this year. I love it. I never know who Leroy is. Who's Leroy? Leroy Jenkins. It's always, I always see your name and we always forget to change it. Leroy, who are you? Leslie. I knew it. I was getting close. Do at least 8 unconquerable challenges this year. Fun fact, I've only built out 5. So I've got to build out 3 more. So we don't have 8 yet, but we will. Love that. So it's pretty specific. I'm going to accomplish, or I'm going to partake in 8 challenges. Stick to my to-do list. Sarid, I need more specificity. What is a to-do list? What's on the to-do list? Is it too big, too small? What happens when you accomplish everything on it? Is it change every day? Does it change every week? I need more specifics on your to-do list. Save at least $870 per month when math tutoring business is operating. Okay, so now, Catherine, you need to dive into when is your math tutoring business operating? And so $870 per month, January, April, May, but we skipped February, March. Not very specific enough. We need a little bit more specificity. So if it's if we could do one, set up like your calendar, your schedule, we'll talk about here a time here in a second. And so if you say, okay, and maybe we break it down like quarterly, since maybe tutoring is seasonal, we could break it down by the quarter. So, okay, well, are we going to tutor 1 month or half of the month in the first quarter? Then how are we going to, what is that math, right? So 870, and then if we did a half of a month, like we did a couple extra weeks, what would that look like, right? So somewhere around $1,200, let's just say, for Q1. And then maybe it's 2 months in Q2, right? So we want to get a little bit more specific with that, based off of when operating, whatever that means for you. And you don't have to tell me that, but you can. Walk daily for the month of January. Yeah, you and me both, Amy. You and me both. I'm not excited about it, just to say that, but I'm doing it, all righty. I like to work out at least 3 to 5 times per week for at least 30 to 60 minutes consistently. So this is a great April, and I'm sorry, I'm not picking on you, I pinky promise. This is a great way to set yourself up for failure. It gives you too much leniency. Alrighty, 3 to 5 days per week, 30 to 60 minutes. If we do 3, are we happy? If we do 5, are we too happy? Like, what are we doing? So pick a little bit more specific is all I'm saying. I'm going to work out 4 days a week for 45 minutes. That's our goal. If I do 60 minutes, great. You did 60 minutes, doesn't matter. But the goal was 4 times a week for 45 minutes, bare minimum. Or maybe it's 3 times. So what, and make it so we're going to get down here in a second, but make sure it's realistic, right? So make sure we're not going from like 0 to 100. And so maybe 100 would be 5 times per week. Then we wouldn't do that. Let's start with 3 times a week for 30 minutes. And then we go 3 times a week for 45 minutes. And then we go 3 times a week for 60 minutes. And then we go 4 times a week back down to 30 minutes. And we could progress our way there. All right. We'll talk about time here in a second. So we'll set some time frames of when we can kind of adjust and increase or decrease. All righty. Lose 2 pounds every week for 12 weeks by following the meal plan and work. I think you meant work out 5 times a week. So love it, Leanne. Now, with weight loss, very tough because sometimes we won't, it could be the time of the month. It could be we had a cheat meal and we bloated, we retained water, we got stressed out, so we retained this or that, or we had some inflammation going on. So 2 pounds a week, how I would get there, number one, is you would have to weigh yourself every single day. That's the only way to do it. And I say that to caveat to also say, I need you to have a really healthy relationship with the scale. So if you do not have a healthy relationship with the scale, do not weigh yourself every day. But what weighing yourself every day does is it gives you a projection of how things are going to end up by the end of the week. So if it's Wednesday or Thursday, and you haven't lost any weight, you're probably not going to lose those 2 pounds by Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you can set yourself up for success there. And if we are behind, we could always increase exercise activity. You could technically decrease your food consumption. It's not my go-to, especially because you're on a meal plan. But if you had to, I would say don't decrease it from protein, decrease it from your carbs or your fats, and that could help speed up your process or your progress. And then don't ever back off just because you get ahead. So let's say like week 1, you lost 3 pounds. That doesn't mean you can go back down to 1 pound next week. All right, keep pushing that 2 pounds, 2 pounds, 2 pounds, 2 pounds as consistent as possible. Don't give yourself any lenience because it will send you down a downward spiral, right? It'll say, oh, it's okay. I can now have a cheat meal or a cheat day. And then that turns into 2 days. Then that turns into, we'll all start again next week. And so if you're ahead of the game, great. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. All righty. And then work out 5 times a week, very specific. All righty, love it. Natasha, work out 5 times per week, very specific. Do it, go do it, right? Set your calendar up. A lot of times we pick a workout goal, going back to April as well. So April, Natasha, Leanne, talking about we're going to work out 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week. Great win. Put it on your calendar. Put the day, put the time, plan your rest days, plan maybe one, what would we call it? Like a one, if I miss a day, here's going to be my makeup day, right? But don't give yourself too much lenience because then it's going to trick you into thinking you can slack off. So don't do that. Say, hey, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to work out. If for whatever reason, Jesus comes and says he needs me, I can't work out on Friday, cool. I'm going to go back and I'm going to work out on Saturday. All righty. That's going to be my one makeup day. Okay. Leanne Luft wants to run the San Antonio Rock and Roll Half Marathon December 3rd and the 23rd. What's the 23rd, Leanne?
No, it's 2023.
Oh, 2023. Okay, I got you. We're in 2023. I was like, you're gonna run 2?
I'm
very
being
cool.
specific.
I love it. All right, 2023. Rocco, have you ever ran a half marathon before?
A couple of years ago I run the Alamo.
Ooh, I like it. Okay, the Alamo medal's back there somewhere. Very cool. All righty. Well,
So this will only be my second time. I hate running.
Me too. You and me both.
I said after I got out of after I retired from the military, I would never run again.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I was like, I'm not running again. And then I did. I ran 6
Yeah.
half marathons and I was like, and now I'm really like, I'm never running again. So with that goal being so far away, we have to be very strategic about training. And so start thinking about when am I going to start running and how much am I going to start running? And then how can I progress, to a full like half marathon training schedule by probably like September, October, November timeframe.
And I've already signed up for 5 and 10Ks for through the year
Beautiful.
to prepare myself.
It's a beautiful step in the right direction. I love it. Beautiful. All right. Natasha says save $5,000. Love it. Very specific. Better time management. Finish a book per month. Wake up 30 minutes earlier to go for a walk. Watch less TV. Okay. So a lot going on here, but better time management. And we don't really, how do you measure that? Right. So that's going to be our next question is how do we measure it? Okay. So that's going to be the toughest thing with SMART goals is we want to make sure it's specific, but we want to make sure that we can measure it. So time management, really tough to measure, but we'll kind of get into some ideas here in a second. Finish a book per month. Perfect. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. That's great. But I would also schedule it. So Monday through Friday, when do you wake up? Okay, now we're going to wake up 30 minutes earlier. Saturday, when do you wake up? Now we're going to wake up 30 minutes earlier. And then Sunday, when are we going to wake up? All right, now we're going to wake up 30 minutes earlier. So make sure that you are pretty specific with what is that 30 minutes earlier. All righty. Watch less TV. You should read the book Atomic Habits if you haven't already. And he just tells you to unplug your TV and watch how well that works. Unplug it and you're too lazy to actually plug it back in. It's too much work. It's really funny how good it works. What's up, Yoli? Talk to me.
I was going to say that might actually work if I were to disconnect things, then I probably would not bother to put it
Yeah.
back together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's that. And then he also says, take the batteries out of your remote. Because you have to like walk up to the TV and press the buttons. You're not going to do it. Super
Yeah,
funny.
I've got a certification that I've been wanting to get since last year. And so that's why it's like read a book and or study sort of. So whichever one I'm focusing on that month.
I love it. Very beautiful. Okay, and then want to be 197 by March. So we're gonna get into time here in a second, but Katie, start thinking about what day in March are you gonna hit 197? It has to be a very specific day. In order to be ready for the sprint triathlon in March, you need to go to the gym about 2 times per week and have 1 to 2 runs per week. Also need to stick to being consistent. So you're doing a triathlon. I feel like you forgot biking and swimming. And so I would also include those into your workout week as well. Pretty pleased with cherries on top because those are the hard ones. I think swimming is like the hardest thing in the world. So make sure you plan that out. And okay, so Saray came back with set time aside for my work to-do list, 1 hour for no phone. There is I will figure out the app. There's an app that you can lock your phone and set a timer on it, and you cannot unlock it unless like you have like an emergency. I think you have like an emergency contact list so they can get a hold of you. But there's an app on your phone. I'll figure it out. You say, I don't want any notifications for an hour, and you click a button and your phone is literally locked for an hour and you can't do anything about it.
Yes, I need
Well,
that.
so-
Thank you.
The iPhone, if you're an iPhone person, also has like a focus feature. So like you do like the pull down bar.
On the top. Lauren, come back. Lauren, where'd you go? Lauren, did she die?
Oh, I'm here. No, I muted. I got muted somehow. It's okay. No, so like you do the drop down and on the right side and like there'll be a button that says focus. And then you can set up like the parameters of what each one. So like when I hit focus and I hit my work one, like I don't get any notifications like pop-ups or anything until I turn it off. So like if I even were to like out of habit, like look at my home screen to see if I have anything, it won't show me any notifications. And then as soon as I turn the focus off, then like all of them pop up. But it's a good way on iPhoners. That's the only one I know how, but to kind of keep you from being distracted.
Heck yeah, I love it. My big thing was like my phone goes on do not disturb. It's supposed to go on do not disturb at 10 o'clock. I turn it off every day. I'm like, disturb me. And so the beautiful thing behind like this app and I learned it at a conference, is like you can't unlock your phone. Unless you're like, I think you can call 911. And then again, I think you can set like your emergency contacts to call you, like those, like that's the only thing you can do, until again, you pick a timer and then it will unlock itself. Because again, I have no discipline or willpower, and I'm just like, let's turn that off. And this app can't. I'm gonna figure out something bother me. Okay. Elizabeth said, my goal is to build a 2-week meal schedule for my family that is also compliant with my meals. That way I can use some same meal schedule, but also gives them variety so they don't get tired of eating the same thing every week. I like that. Very specific. Couch to 5K app. Heck yeah, very good. Lose 1 pound per week this year. Okay, we're going to get into, that was very measurable. We're going to get into time here in a second, but for how long, Megan? So we need to pick a goal weight or a goal time frame. So how long are you going to lose 1 pound per week? And then going back to Leanne's of, I need you to weigh in every day. If you're gonna have a very specific goal like that, I need you to weigh in every day, because weighing in once a week just probably isn't gonna get it done. All righty. Workout schedule, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, weights, 30 minutes cardio, then Tuesday, Thursday, 60 minutes cardio. Love it. It's the running that's the hardest. All righty, until 160. Okay, perfect. All right, so that was specific, right? So we dove into the specificity of things. We dove a little bit more into some of y'all's. Now measurable. So making sure it's measurable, which was why I asked y'all, how much money do you want to save? How much pounds do you want to lose? And how far do you want to run? Whatever the case may be. So making sure we have a way to measure it. Now attainability. So attainable is where I start talking to you guys about your weight loss. And so that's the A in SMART. And so if it's weight loss, and you do set a goal like 1 pound per week or 2 pounds per week, we have to weigh in every day. That's the only way we're going to make it attainable. Now, if you guys were to say, I want to lose 5 pounds per week, I would have told you that's not attainable. Or it shouldn't be attainable because it would be unhealthy, right? Now, our marathon runners, half marathon runners, very attainable. We got a whole year to figure that out. Saving your money. So kind of going back to Cats with tutoring, $870 for your month. So just make sure that it's attainable on the months that you are tutoring. So going back to your schedule, making sure that if we do pick something like 1 pound per week or 2 pounds per week, is that attainable with what's to come? So when our birthdays, when our anniversaries, when our celebrations, what are we going to do during spring break, all that good stuff. If you're like, oh, actually January and February, I travel 3 weeks out of the month. Okay, weight loss is probably gonna be pretty tough while you're traveling so much, right? Or you're like, oh, I've got 3 vacations planned. Okay, weight loss is gonna be pretty tough, all righty? So make sure you're thinking in the future of, okay, I've got this goal. I've kind of got an end. I've got my finish line. Can I attain that with what normally happens January, February, March, April, whatever the case may be, all righty? Like I can't have physical results like weight loss. I get too disappointed when I don't hit those weekly weights, setting consistent. So Natasha, same thing, like I would maybe pivot to weigh in every day. If you could have that healthy relationship with the food or with the scale, because we can always adapt. We can always change something. We can change nutrition. We can change your exercise. We can change something on either side of this scale to help drive progress. As long as we understand like the sacrifice that comes with it, right? So I love to pick on Lane, but Lane is like obnoxiously disciplined until he's not, right? And like that's his trade-off. He's like, hey, I'm gonna work out every single day. I will literally tell everyone to go jump off a cliff so I can go work out. I'm gonna follow my meal plan perfectly 6 days out of the week. And I'm gonna have like my 1 cheat day. And sometimes it's just like a cheat meal. And so he controls that terrible cheat day. And I have another client, Jacob. Jacob does the same thing. They're so disciplined like 6 days out of the week with their exercise and their nutrition to literally just blow it out of the water in 1 day. And so it takes some sacrifice, but the more data we have, meaning like the more weigh-ins we do, the more workouts we complete, we'll be able to kind of control the outcome a lot better. All right. But weighing in once a week is tough if we have some of those measurable goals like the scale. All righty. I love it. We have days that are fun, active days like kayaking or hiking. I love it. Okay. So they're measurable, they're attainable. And so the R is one of 2 things, is either relative or realistic. So relative to your happiness, relative to your why, relative to your health, whatever kind of you want to focus on, or what is most important to you, or whatever your priorities are, right? And so if I was like to go back to the savings, okay, well, we're going to save $5,000, we're going to save $800 a month. Why? Like, what is that relative to? What's the point behind it all? Is it for financial freedom? Is it for financial comfort? Is it because you want to go buy a new car? Is it because you're saving up for a house? What is it relative to? So I would try to connect those dots to get the whole idea is to get a stronger bond to your initial goal, right? So that's the idea of going through all these steps. We want to be able to kind of put some emotion into it. All righty. And then the last one is the T, and it's time. When are like, and I love the quote coming from Spartan, the Spartan races is building an emergency fund. Love it. So Spartan was like, put a date on the calendar. Alrighty, you have to have a time, which is why corporations do really well, is because they always have, hey, we have this goal, we have this task, we have this project, we need it done by this day. Go do it, right? So you need to do the same thing with your goals. So $5,000, Natasha, is that in a year? And then for Kat, $870 for how long, till when? What's our end date? When are we going to be happy? Could it be in 3 months? Could it be 6 months? Could it be 12 months? Whatever the case may be. And then same thing with our weight loss. So want to be 160 pounds on what day? When you step on the scale March 15th, Megan, like, is that going to be the day? Is it going to be the last day of March? Is it the first day of March? When are we going to get there, and how are we going to get there? And again, making sure that it's realistic. So if we're losing about a pound per week, how many weeks would we need to get to our 160 goal? Or if we want to do 197, what is the exact day that we want to be 197? And then you can backtrack it of, okay, well, I've got my date out here in March, but I'm going to backtrack it to know how many pounds I need to lose per week, right? And then we would weigh in every single day to monitor that data. And then going the same thing with Leanne with your half marathon. Okay, well, we need to figure out how we're going to scale, because a year is really long. It's really hard to do anything for a year. And so if you have a goal at the end of the year, we need to figure out how we're going to structure our workout plan, our runs, our tempos, all that good stuff to have a successful half marathon. Now, I will say the problem with races, and same thing with my triathlon, my triathlete, is sometimes we go into the races and we just say, I just want to complete it. I just want to say that I did it, right? And that's not a good mindset either. So I would try to maybe pick a goal, pick a tempo, like I want to run a 10-minute mile or whatever the case may be. I want to finish my sprint triathlon, and I don't know, I have no idea how long it takes, but let's say it's 3 hours. I want to finish a triathlon in 3 hours. Set that specific goal for you as well to hold yourself to a higher standard. All right, so make sure we are doing that with all of our performance-based goals. All right, so very cool. Now, we talked a little bit about it, but how are we going to get there? So it's measurable, it's attainable. And so if my goal, going back to money, if I'm going to save $5,000 or save $870, how? When are you going to make those deposits or those transfers into the savings account? What daily things are we going to do to make sure that we can? What's the schedule? What's the routine? What's the most that we want to put into savings at one time? So how are we going to get there? Alrighty. Now, if we are talking about, which is kind of why I said diving into the daily weigh-ins. And so if I'm going to weigh in every single day, that's going to allow me to pivot when things don't go according to plan, which was my next bullet point. All right, what are we going to do when things go astray? What are we going to do when the results aren't there? What are we going to do when we don't save up $870 a month? What are we going to do when we don't get all of our workouts in? That's why I said, hey, put that little, if for whatever reason I can't make a workout, I have this backup plan, but don't give yourself too much cushion on it, because you're going to start missing your original schedule just because you know you have a backup plan, if that kind of makes sense. So they always say, like, the best way to complete, who says it? Tony Robbins. He says the best way to take the island is to burn the boats, right? So if you're going to like storm the island and take over, the best way is to remove all plan Bs. So we are not going to retreat from the island. We're either going to take it over or we're going to die. So burn the boats. So be careful with giving yourself a backup plan, but just know, especially if you have a family, things do come up. right? So things do come up, give yourself some freedom and some grace with that. And have again, like one if, like, okay, if things go astray, here's what I'm going to do. All righty. So, because what normally happens is we set a goal. I want to be 160. Well, what happens when you're not on your way there a couple weeks in or a month in? Most of us give up, right? And so that's why we need to start planning for when things fail. We need to make sure that we have a plan. All righty. And so that's the beauty behind kind of being this solutions oriented and saying, okay, here's my goal in a perfect world. Here's how I'm going to do it. Here's how I'm going to get there. Here's my daily steps. Here's my measure. Here's my time. Here's my priorities. However, when XYZ happens, because it probably will, when people get sick, when work gets hectic, when travel gets forced, whatever the case may be, now what am I going to do? All right. So start to think now about solutions when your plan doesn't go according to plan. All right. So we'll almost, there's one thing I know about plans, is that it will never go according to plan. All righty. So keep that in mind. And then the last thing I want to talk about is, what are we going to do when our loved ones pull us away from our goal? All righty. We talked about this when I do coaching calls for Camp Gladiator for all the coaches. We talked about this yesterday. Our loved ones are the biggest problem. They're always the worst. Your family's always pulling you away because, Natasha, you look so skinny, you need to eat, right? Let me feed you. Or just have this one drink of alcohol. It's not going to hurt you. Let's go out to dinner. It's not going to hurt you. Hey, let's go on vacation. You've been working so hard, you deserve a vacation. So now we're not going to be able to save as much money, whatever the case may be. What are you going to do when your family and friends and loved ones still pull you away, right? Or when they're going to take you off of your journey, your path, whatever the case may be. Very few of us have a loved one that probably, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, because most of them are doing it out of the kindness of their heart and they love you, and that's why they're doing it. It's not to jeopardize you. They don't see it as that. And so I'm not picking on anyone. It's saying, like, out of love, we like to give our loved ones the easy way out. That's kind of what happens, right? And so you deserve this. So let's go get some chips and salsa. You deserve a day off. You don't need to work out today. You can just rest. So boom, now you just missed your workout. Or, let's go out to eat. Okay, so now we can't save, right? And so start to think about, again, coming up with the problems that we know are going to happen. And say, okay, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to do when they try to pull me away? What am I going to do when they invite me to go out to dinner? What am I going to do when they invite me for drinks, to go have a drink? What am I going to do if they want to go on vacation? What am I going to do when, instead of going to work out tonight, they want to watch a movie or they want to watch a show, right? What am I going to do on Sunday when I should go get my steps, but we got to watch a football game or the playoffs or the Super Bowl, whatever the case may be? What am I going to do? Because saying no to random friends is one thing. Saying no to the person you love the most or your family, completely different scenario. All righty. And sometimes it doesn't always have to look like no. Sometimes it can look like not right now. Sometimes it can look like, okay, but right after I have to go do XYZ. Okay, I'll go, but I'm not going to drink. I'll just have water. Okay, I'll go, but I'm going to order chicken, rice, and broccoli at Chili's because I know I can. And so don't always think you have to say no, but just know that we have to have some sort of plan. I'll tell you right now, if I go to Chili's, I'm eating all the chips and salsa. What's up, Lauren?
I was just gonna say that what I've learned, like if I'm going somewhere and like I don't want to drink that day or whatever, for whatever reason, people understand better if I'm say I'm okay right now versus I'm not drinking, or like I'm sticking to water. But if you just say I'm okay right now every time they offer you a drink, for whatever reason, that seems to go better than just like, because if you say you're not drinking, then there's a whole like, but why? And then it's
Yeah, you're pregnant.
Hells no.
Yes, for sure. I love that. Again, and a lot of it, again, is just how we phrase things, which is pretty cool as well. So can we think about the way that we phrase things? Can we think about the way that we say things? Sometimes we can say no. Other times it looks like yes, however, XYZ. right? And so again, kind of just because you know it's going to happen, right? You know you're going to want to have date night. You know you're going to want to go out to eat. You know you're going to have a birthday or anniversary or Valentine's Day is coming up. If you're in a relationship right now and you have a goal to lose weight, what are you going to do on Valentine's Day? You're going to go out to dinner? You're going to tell your person no? Like, what are you going to do? You know, if you have a goal to work out on a Tuesday night and Valentine's Day is Tuesday night, what are you going to do? You know, I don't know what Valentine's Day is, but so just make sure that we're planning for these things, because the slight derailments every single day, I think it was in the video that I sent the Unconquerable people today. It's like death by 1,000 cuts, right? And so it's like, oh, one cut, no big deal. So let's just let it cut again, let it cut again, let it cut again, let it cut again. And all these small cuts, these little things that didn't really matter, well, now I didn't hit my goal. And so now it's useless, right? So try not to be too lenient with the little things, because they will add up over time. All right. And so that's kind of the ending cap. Get comfortable standing out. Super weird. But yeah, you have to be ready. Like if you're going out to eat and everyone's indulging in these things, and you're like, I'm just going to have like grilled chicken and rice and some broccoli at Chili's, and everyone's has quesadillas and tacos and steaks and margaritas and stuff like that. Got to be ready for that. Got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. So love that. All right. So quick recap, goals, make sure that we have our big goal, right? Work out more, lose some weight, save money. That's our big goal. But then we got our specifics. How much money, how much weight, how many times are we going to work out? Set the specific standard, righty? And so, oh yeah, Josie, we talked about this a couple calls ago. Be the first person at the restaurant to order. If you're going out to eat, you got to stick to your meal plan. You order first, because everyone else's order will have you change your mind. So maybe you go in, you're like, I'm going to do chicken, rice, and broccoli, and then all your friends and family members are ordering this, that, and the other, and it causes you to like rethink your order. So love that. Lane is a little, as I said, Lane's extreme. I'm not bringing my Tupperware to Chili's. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Lane would. Lane has no shame in his game. It's super funny. Eat a small meal, drink a protein shake. All those things help you before you go out to eat. So I love it. All very good. Perfect. So specific goals, measurable goals, make sure they're attainable. So if it's a weight loss goal, 1 pound per week is very doable. 2 pounds per week is a stretch. Not saying it's impossible, but you better be ready to grind. What does grind look like? Follow your meal plan 7 days a week with no days off. I promise you, you'll lose 2 pounds a week. And then make sure it's relevant or realistic. So is it relevant to your big goals? Is it relevant to what makes you happy? Is it relevant to your priorities? Is it relevant to what's going to bring you the most joy once you cross that finish line? And then what time? When are we going to do it? Put a date on the calendar. It has to be a date. I am going to run the Rock and Roll December 3rd. I'm going to do a triathlon June 20th. I'm going to lose 20 pounds by March 10th. I'm going to save $5,000 by June 1st. I'm going to save $870 by February 1st, right? Put a very specific date and hit it. All righty. And then if we don't hit it, then we could either push it out, or we could just say, hey, I got close enough, and then do it again, repeat it, and say, okay, I didn't hit my 20-pound goal by March 17th. I only got to 15 pounds. Okay, so 3 months, 2.5 months wasn't long enough. So I'm going to push it out for the total of 3 months. And maybe in those extra 2 or 3 weeks, I can lose 5 more pounds. So March 17th, I'm going to push it all the way out to June 17th now. And now I'm going to hit my 20-pound goal. All righty. And so it's a consistent, put a date on the calendar, hit it or fall short, doesn't matter, and then start over. Hit it or fall short, doesn't matter, start over. Hit it, fall short, doesn't matter, start over. Over and over and over again until you get to whatever desired result you want. So especially for maybe Natasha, that's like a year goal. I want to save $5,000 by the end of the year. Break it up into little increments. Maybe Q1, I want to do this. Q2, I want to do that. Again, either hit it or fall short, and then readjust and start over. Hit it or fall short, readjust, start over. But never give up until we hit our final goal. And then once you hit your goal, you have to be ready to pick a new goal, or you're going to fall right back into the same routine. I was talking to Deidre today about just like how my brain works. I always as soon as something slows down or something is accomplished, I'm immediately like thinking about something else, which is exactly why Unconquerable came about. I was sitting at Facts Over Fads and I was like, you know what? The company's doing well. It's very consistent. And there's like, I don't have to put too much thought into it. I got it to a point to where I'm very happy with how the business is performing. I'm gonna go build something else. I'm gonna go do CG. I'm gonna go do like all these other things. So always be ready to hit a goal, pick a new goal, hit a goal, pick a new. There's always a goal. It doesn't have to be weight always. It doesn't have to be money always. It doesn't have to be workouts or fitness. It can be anything you want as long as it's specific, measurable, attainable, relative or realistic, and then put a time on the calendar. All righty. When you reach the top of the mountain, find a bigger mountain. Love it. Great quote. Great quote. All righty. Okay. Well, it was a pleasure chit-chatting with you guys. I'm going to stop the recording.